Welcome to Celestial Insights, a weekly podcast that brings the stars down to earth. I'm your host, astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks. My purpose is to provide practical, unique, and insightful guidance to help you navigate the energies of the week like a boss. Hello, this is Celeste of Astrology by Celeste, and on this episode, I will discuss the astrology for the week of August 4th, 2024. There is still time to sign up for today's Leo New Moon Workshop at 12 p.m. Pacific Time. If you can't make it live, you will get the recording. The benefit of coming live is that I do as many hot take natal chart readings as I can in the time allowed. And this is going to be a very dynamic moon cycle. So coming to learn what it could mean for you and how best to use the energy could be very helpful as you navigate the next couple of weeks. Also, there are only 2 spots left in my Moon Mastery track at the OPA Retreat in Park City, Utah, October 16th through 21. So if you are considering coming, I would suggest you don't hesitate and book it now. Let's take a look back at the astrology of last week and relate it specifically to the Olympics. I was really interested to see how the astrology would show up. On the day Mercury entered the sign of Virgo, where it's going to station to go retrograde later today, we had Mars in Gemini and an arson attack on the Paris rail system. So Mars attacks. Gemini is associated with transportation, and there was a coordinated setting of a bunch of fires, and it caused a lot of travel delays. So Mercury entered the sign of Virgo, where it was barely moving and crawling to go retrograde, and we see all of this travel delays. There were also fiber optic cables cut a couple of days later that caused a lot of internet outages. Now, they did not impact the game, but Gemini also is associated with technology. So Mars and Gemini, like cutting these fiber optic cables, trying to sabotage or attack the Olympics. It's all very coordinated. Thank goodness, no one was hurt with any of these things. So that's a positive about this issue. But, people were really delayed, and their impacts, in England and other countries in Europe, where because of the problems with the rail system in Paris, it's a domino effect. The delays are also extended into some of the events at the Olympics due to the bad weather. There's been a lot of rainfall, and the Seine River, which was very contaminated, France spent $1.5 billion trying to clean it up. They had the mayor of Paris swimming in it. But now with all this rain, it's bringing back up all of the sewage or whatever is contaminating the water. And you can think about Saturn contaminates in Pisces water. So we'll see if those water events eventually can happen, or is there a collapse of anything contemplated because of the weather issues, the contaminated water? We shall see. Another thing I mentioned, that Chiron was stationing retrograde on the day of the ceremony, and Chiron was half man, half horse. And there was like this white horse traveling across the water with this Joan of Arc symbolism. And that to me really reflected the Chiron stationing retrograde. Now, Jupiter rules religion, and it's coming to square Saturn in Pisces, which is also Pisces is also associated with religion. And there's been a big controversy around people thinking that I didn't see the opening ceremony, but there was something where drag queens were doing something that looked similar to the Last Supper, and a lot of Christian people were very upset. There was also a lot of talk about satanic imagery, like people took Joan of Arc to be one of the horsemen of the apocalypse. So this is something else that was reflected by the astrology, and like Mars conjunct Jupiter attacking the Olympics is a Jupiterian event, which brings people from all over the world. Jupiter rules long distance travel. It's like this huge celebration. Venus on steroids. Jupiter is the greater benefic. It's like a huge show, a huge party. So you can see that Mars, Jupiter, square Saturn. People are attacking the Olympic events for being Saturn disrespectful in Pisces of religion. Also, we saw Algol at the Olympics with Uranus is still on Algol, the fixed star with Medusa symbology. It's a beheading star. And one of the things at the opening ceremony, there was Marie Antoinette's beheaded head and like holding it under her arm and singing. And so that was another thing we saw reflected in the astrology at the Olympics. The Mars in Gemini transit has been very loud. What Mars is doing is it is coming to meet Jupiter on August 14th, and then it will square Saturn a couple of days later. I can't remember the exact day, but anyway, we've seen this Mars transit feels like it's very amplified as it moves towards Jupiter, which makes everything bigger. There was someone who set an arson fire in California. The park fire is massive. It's just horrible. It's a huge fire. It's been burning pretty much out of control. And it has like this Mercury retrograde component because this city in California, Paradise, was burned to the ground in 2018. And now it's threatened again. And there are evacuations happening there. And you can think about how retrogrades bring back previous situations. And so people are experiencing the same trauma from years ago. And a bunch of them had rebuilt. So it's very sad. Thankfully, they've caught the person who they suspect has started the fire. But Mars in Gemini, arsonist. You can think about Mars attacks. It rules fires. Gemini is an air sign. Air signs are humane, so a fire started by a person. Also in the Bay Area, BART is like the subway system, and there was a power outage that caused massive delays due to electrical room fire. So a fire in the technology room caused massive delays for people. There was a rocket attack on an Israel playground that killed children on a soccer field in the Druze community. I hope I'm saying that right. It's an Arab community in Syria that's now occupied by Israel, is my understanding. My apologies if I'm saying this incorrectly. Israel's blaming Hezbollah. This is very concerning about the war expanding in the Middle East. And, just this never ending, it feels like, tragedy going on over there. And flights were grounded as a result in different areas of the Middle East, causing travel delays. Last week's podcast was called Stealing Victory, and Venezuela had an election where the current president there, Maduro, is saying he won. The opposition party is saying he did not. And the people are in the streets. I am excited to be a faculty member for the Organization of Professional Astrology's retreat in Park City, Utah from October 16th through 21st. I will be teaching a Moon Mastery Intensive over 3 days. This is going to be intimate, where there will be no more than 9 participants. You'll learn everything about the moon and her cycles to deepen your understanding of your natal chart. We will delve into the past, the present, and what's going to be coming up in the future so that you can use the energies in order to achieve your goals. You can also bring a chart of someone else with their permission. If you want to join, do not hesitate. Sign up today because there are limited spots. I would love to be your guide as you deepen your understanding of our beautiful lunar teacher. The theme of this week is the Adjustment Bureau, and there are three things I want you to think about as you navigate this week. The first is that we have a new moon at 12 degrees of Leo today. And my apologies, I made a mistake about the tarot card last week. I gave you the wrong tarot card. It should have been the Five of Wands last week. And today, the tarot card for the sun and the moon at 12 Leo is the Six of Wands. And this is the victory card. And this is so in line with the energy as Mercury slows down to station, you start to find errors or mistakes that you made. And this is going to be, we're going to see a lot of course corrections this week. And the reason it's called the Adjustment Bureau is because there are three quincunxes this week in the astrology. And quincunxes are this adjusting energy. It's like a fly buzzing in your ear, is how Rick Levine describes it. It's like this tension. It's almost vibrating. It's like something is in your blind spot. You can't exactly see it, but you know that something needs to be changed. Bernadette Brady talks about how quincunxes move us into new situations where we have to release and let go of something. You can think about when you get engaged, you release and let go of, being single, or when you get married, or when you get a promotion, you release and let go of some of your free time because you've got more work to do. So the quincunx is somewhere between a square, which is tension, and a trine, which is smooth, easy flowing energy. So think about that this week as we navigate the week and you see things in your own life and the collective related to this. The Sabian symbol is an old sea captain rocking on the porch of his cottage. You can think about handling the storms life throws at you with confidence with this imagery. You can think about retiring, taking time alone to reminisce. Notice when we see cottages or seas in the collective, the Olympics, the fact that the Seine is, all this filth is coming back up and the people who are supposed to compete in it are delayed. Will these things still happen? Or will they make adjustments around this so that, the games can go on? At this new moon, Venus will be at 29 degrees of Leo, quincunx Neptune in Pisces. So 29 degrees of Leo. You can think about Venus as partnerships, 29 Leo, a degree of crisis and decay. Neptune at 29 Pisces, you can think of letting something go, letting something wash away down the seas. Spoiler alert, I think if it hasn't happened already, I record this early. It may have happened on Friday. But I think Trump is going to dump J.D. Vance as a running mate because J.D. Vance has just been an unmitigated disaster who is eating up all the energy in the room with all of his anti-women statements. Just today, as I'm recording this, now it's come out him talking about how people who don't have children are deranged, sociopathic, and psychotic, I think he said. He's just the gift that keeps on giving. He really needs to be sitting on a therapist's couch rather than running for vice president, in my opinion. I think what we will hear is that, because on this day, Mercury stations retrograde in the sign of Virgo, which is a sign of health, that he is going to, like, maybe his father-in-law is ill, and so he has to drop out. They just make up some excuses. And this, to me, gets the old sea captain. His wife is from San Diego, so a city on water. We'll see. I could be wrong. Donald Trump doesn't like to admit any mistakes, so maybe he'll keep him in and weather the storm. But I don't think so. It's pretty bad. Every time he opens his mouth, you get another 100 people registering to vote and willing to stay in line 10 more minutes. So we'll see what happens with that. But notice what adjustments are happening. This can be, people deciding that the relationship is over. And Leo is dynamic fire energy. It's a fixed sign. It is confident. It is leadership energy. It is, Leo can see the big picture, like puts on a grand show. Yeah. So this new moon, what is your grand vision, your big show that you want to launch for yourself? And with Mercury going retrograde, the answers are coming from the past. It's not about starting something new with this new moon. I think it's about working on what you've already started, what's already in motion, what's already in your vision, and getting better ideas to go forward. And with this Venus, King Kungs, Neptune, like Venus rules partnership. So who are you partnering to Neptune? Make your big dreams possible. There may need to be some adjustments around that partnership part of the piece, is what I'm thinking with this. And the lunar phase family. So we have the new moon today where the sun and moon are both at 12 Leo. 9 months from now, the sun will be in Taurus, the moon in Leo on May 4th of 2025, both at 14 degrees. The full moon of this phase, sun in Aquarius, moon in Leo, both at 13 degrees on February 1st, 2026. And the last quarter moon with the sun in Scorpio, moon in Leo, both at 9 degrees, November 1st, 2026. So you can think about if you're working on something big or grand and this impacts your chart, think about these 9-month cycles as putting a pin in it, as where do you want to be 9 months from now? Where do you want to be 18 months from now? Where do you want to be 27 months from now with your big vision about what you want to achieve in your life for your Leonic self-expression? I suggest you join today's workshop if you want to go deeper or learn what this means for you and how to best use the energy. The next thing I want to make you aware of is that Venus is entering the sign of Virgo at 7:22 p.m. Pacific time today, August 4th through August 29th. Virgo is the sign of Venus's fall. It brings to mind the independent woman. It's like the maiden, the vestal virgins in Rome who could not be in relationships. I get it, self-sufficient nun energy with this. With this new moon, there's that breakup energy. I also wrote down royal or celebrity divorce. Leo rules royalty and celebrities. Venus rules money, and Virgo is a sign of poverty. It's Venus's fall. So there could be something that happens over this lunar cycle that causes, it's unexpected, and it causes like some stock market problems or something, like a financial contraction. We'll see if that's part of the Jupiter-Saturn square is. Typically, when Jupiter and Saturn are square, it doesn't happen until August 19th. But it's Jupiter rules wealth and Saturn constricts things. It's like that expansion and contraction energy coming to a head. Now you can think about using this transit positively is showing love through acts of service. Virgo is a sign of service. Also, like taking extra care with the ingredients you put in the food that you are making. Reading the labels at the grocery store. When Venus goes into Virgo, I want you to look with your eyes to see what do you see of the nature of Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and harmony, and Virgo, a sign that is about health matters. Virgo rules the intestines. Now, Virgo can also be, it brings order to chaos. If you see like a young woman directing traffic, could be Venus in Virgo. Yeah, is something I can see in my mind because maybe there's been a fender bender, Mercury retrograde. Yeah. Now, beware of picking on your partner. This is shadow Virgo energy, can just be nitpicking or perfectionistic. Really be mindful of that. The last thing I want to make you aware of is that Mercury will go retrograde in the sign of Virgo August 4th through 28th. It's going to move from 4 degrees of Virgo back to 21 Leo on August 28th and then go forward again. So it's treading over old ground that it marched over the last couple of weeks. So things will come back up again that maybe you thought were settled. This is another reason I think Trump is going to choose a different running mate, and it may be a woman, because J.D. Vance, the selection of J.D. Vance has caused tremendous problems for his campaign. Now, retrogrades in general it's an affliction. They bring delays, conflicts, reversals, reoccurrences of previous situations, unearthed secrets. There was just today in the news, J.D. Vance's college friend released a bunch of text messages that show his disdain for Donald Trump, as well as the things he thought are so different than what he's saying today. They can also bring the collapse of anything contemplated, like thinking you're going to be VP, thinking you're going to win an Olympic gold medal for X, Y, or Z, thinking you're going to swim in the Seine and, it not happening. Hopefully that's just postponed. Notice any health matters, any health things that come up. You could have a health issue that has a little reoccurrence, like the day Mercury stations retrograde. Be extra careful about what you're eating, especially if you have anything near 4, Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, and Sagittarius. Those are the mutable signs, because there may be a story in your life and you just eat something and it upsets your digestive system. Now, I love Mercury retrogrades for finding mistakes. So with Mercury retrograde in Virgo, this is not a good time. If you're getting some kind of procedure at a hospital, make sure they are doing it on the right body part. This could be like this horror stories you hear about, a doctor doing surgery on the left leg when they were supposed to do it on the right leg kind of thing. That could be something that we hear in the collective. Of course, there's the typical technology problems, scheduling mishaps. Leo rules things like the places where people go, travel the world to get to. I can see people in the London Eye is like the Ferris wheel in England, it having a power outage and people being stuck at the top of it. So notice if we see something about a huge landmark or place that people go to see things having some kind of technology problem related to this. There could be something at the Olympics where there is a successful, or something in Paris, another thing to disrupt it. Because this new moon being conjunct Mercury retrograde, like a plan to cause harm, is successful when things are done under the new moon, where it's dark. You can't see what's going on. It's like people can get away with things. And Mercury is at home in Virgo. This can be where all the plans, all the details are right in line. You've got it perfectly planned out, and your actions are successful, and they're meant to, with the new moon in Leo, be very dramatic. So hopefully it will continue to be like with the Mars and Gemini. It will continue to be just things that cause people delays and problems and not, physical harm. We shall see what happens. Yeah, I wrote down we might see more sabotage in France. There could be an article about Joe Biden's deterioration, like his physical deterioration. I wrote down a New York Times expose because his ascendant is at 3 Sagittarius. So this Mercury retrograde is squaring his ascendant. So there could be news about his health issues, like what did they know and when did they know it kind of stuff. And I also wrote down Simone Biles. This is opposite her ascendant. She's a Pisces rising. And with Jupiter and Gemini squaring Saturn and Pisces, I know she had her leg taped up. I got a hit that she's not going to win gold. I also wondered if there's going to be a debate about a score that she gets. with Mercury retrograde, like people are mad, and it might not be Simone Biles at all. It could be some other Olympian. Now, another thing retrogrades can do is bring back lost objects. So really notice if you find something, especially if it's found like within a box, within a box, within a box, or just like you find money in a pocket could be something that happens. Because Virgo, I do something called horary, and if the lost object is signified by the sign of Virgo, it suggests that it's hidden underneath something. So it could be something, and I wrote down something's hidden from sight to the left of the car keys. Yeah, that could be something that you find something. So there's no need to be scared about Mercury retrograde in general, but I think you just have to remember it's an affliction and it can cause a delayed response. So how you can mitigate it is getting places early, having a sense of humor about the delays and mix-ups and scheduling things or communication errors, and double checking everything before you send things. If you're not paying attention, this can be a time where you send an email to the whole company rather than the one person you meant to send it to. So just be mindful and slow down, especially while driving. I saw a terrible accident yesterday and it was like inexplicable. How did this even happen? Kind of things you will be noticing. If you see things and you're like, how did this even happen? Think about the fact that Mercury rules the communication and the thought processes. It's moving slow. Now it's turning to go retrograde. And so it's delayed reaction. I saw this car accident and I'm just standing there looking at it in my mind, trying to contemplate how this even happened rather than running over and trying to help the people and make sure everyone was okay. Afterwards, I was like, why was I just standing there? It's Mercury moving really slow. The person who got hit had damage to their arm and an ambulance came and helped them. The person who caused the accident was really very injured. So hopefully she will be okay. But a big thing to think about with Mercury retrogrades, it's an invitation to slow down, go within. Retrogrades are internal. You may notice if you do anything with oracle cards or tarot, that you get a lot more upside down cards, suggesting that you need to go internal. And it's a time to do all the RE words, reflect, reassess, revisit. Your ghosts come back. You run into people you haven't seen in a long time. Yeah, it's a transit that happens a couple times a year. There's no need to be scared. It's just being aware of the energy can help you prevent the typical problems that can come up. If you are embarking on a new journey, experiencing a major life event, feeling stuck, trying to make a difficult decision, or just looking to make positive changes, astrology can provide life-changing insights. There are several ways to work with me. You can come for a 30, 60, or 90-minute astrology consultation depending on your needs. Ask me a burning question and I'll record a video for you. Engage in longer-term cosmic success coaching where we work together on a 3-month basis to help you overcome blocks, improve your life satisfaction, build better relationships, accomplish your career goals, and understand yourself better using the tool of astrology. Or mystic mentoring if you're an aspiring astrologer and want help with chart analysis techniques. Go to astrologybyceleste.com to check out my offerings. If you have any questions, you can email me at celeste@astrologybyceleste.com. So on Sunday, the word of the day is twisted. And I'm getting like twisted up like a pretzel. So notice if like your stomach is all in knots, could be something. It could be from eating something you didn't want to eat, you shouldn't have eaten. It could be like you're watching the competition and you want your person to win and you're just like so taken with it. We have the new moon at 12 degrees of Leo at 4:13 a.m. This is the day King Kong's Neptune and Pisces, both at the 29th degree, the last degree of crisis and decay. Venus is the prize. Leo is the superstar. Neptune is loss. And Pisces, the tears. Someone's supposed to win who doesn't. Yeah. And then Venus enters Virgo at 7:22 p.m. Pacific time. And it's King Kong's Pluto. So I don't know. Like, I can just see a woman injured because like a delayed reaction while they're competing at the Olympics. So hopefully that's not anything that happens, but Venus and Leo dropping into Virgo could be like the star has an injury kind of thing. This is the day that Mercury stations retrograde at 4 degrees of Virgo at 9:55 p.m. Pacific time. And I'm getting with the Virgo that we're going to be looking back because in the past, retrograde about some kind of health thing. Yeah, that, and then you may see this played over and over and over and over again on Monday. On Monday, the word of the day is hiccups. So there could be a lot of hiccups at work, and they may be Mercury retrograde kind of funnies where like just mixed speaking or something where, yeah, we'll see what happens, but I got hiccups is the word for it. Venus, this is a day Venus in Virgo is King Kong's Pluto in Aquarius. Now, Pluto can shame, embarrass, and humiliate. So someone being embarrassed in public. And with Venus, it's like there's a torn pantyhose is what I'm getting the image of. So you can think about how Venus rules fashion and you have a run in your pantyhose and oh my God, you're so embarrassed. You can't believe it. You know, you gave this big presentation with your pantyhose torn or spinach in your teeth or something like that. The Virgo moon at 2:16 p.m. This could be symbolic of, and it's Pacific time, symbolic of, oh my God, I see the spinach in my teeth. I can't believe I just did this whole meeting with the spinach in my teeth and you're all worried about it and anxious. Virgo can be a sign of anxiety. It's ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is retrograde in this sign. But it's a little thing. Can you just laugh it off? Nobody cares that your pantyhose were ripped. Yeah, people noticed there was spinach in your teeth, but you still delivered what you delivered well. Now, this is a goddess day where the moon and Venus meet. These are the two feminine principles. So, yeah, this could be a day that can you shower yourself with some love despite the little hiccup or mistake you made? On Tuesday, the word of the day is late. So you may be late for a meeting or seeing people running late, or your period is late, is what I wrote down. Wednesday, the word of the day is congratulations. The sun is in Leo, is sextile Jupiter in Gemini, and they're both at 15 degrees. There's going to be big news because 15 degrees of Leo is a world point. The sun rules leaders as well as celebrities, Leo royalty. There could be something. Jupiter is symbolic of children, abundance, and Gemini is a sign of children. Now, this could be an engagement, like some big news about a celebrity engagement. Kamala Harris is going to pick her running mate by this date. And on this date, Venus in Virgo is conjunct Mercury retrograde in Virgo at 3 degrees of Virgo. So this is like an announcement about, Mercury announces about a partnership. Now, this could be the day we find out Donald Trump is dumping J.D. Vance as well. And it feels like it's really interesting because Leo, Gemini, and Virgo are all the barren signs. They're a sign of few or no children, but I'm getting like this, somebody taking a pregnancy test, they're pregnant, and it feels like a miracle. On Thursday, the word of the day is exciting. The moon enters Libra at 2:31 a.m. Pacific time. And then we're going to have a waxing crescent moon at 1 degrees of Libra at 5:28 p.m. Pacific time. Libra is a sign of partnerships. It's elegant, well-spoken. It's an air sign. Air communicates, air connects. It rules one-on-one relationships. So now that the moon's light is growing, maybe you just need to give a call to someone who you consider your partner in crime. We can think about that with Mars and Gemini, and schedule to go out, and do something fun and exciting together. Now, the moon rules the people, and it will be trine Mars. Mars rules competition, and Jupiter rules success, like some exciting competition at the Olympics. On Friday, the word of the day is pop. This is the day the sun in Leo is King Kong, Saturn in Pisces. Saturn is a buzzkill. Saturn disappoints. Saturn rejects and excludes. It ends things. And I get like a bubble popping, like you can have a buzzkill. The person you're rooting for to win, the sun in Leo, the person all eyes are focused on, has a failure. Saturn rules failure. On Saturday, the word of the day is miserly. So this could be like you have to pay off a debt and don't want to give them the money. But remember, a Lannister always pays their debts. The moon enters Scorpio at 3:32 p.m. Pacific time. Scorpio is a sign of debts and obligations, shared resources. It's the life, death, and rebirth cycle with Scorpio. It's fixed water energy. It's very internal. So notice if you don't want to share your French fries or something like that. It's like hoarding energy. So that's it for this week's episode. Feel free to email me at celeste@astrologybyceleste.com with any astrology and action stories, or let me know how the themes are playing out for you. Take care, and I'll catch you next week. Thank you for listening to Celestial Insights. To learn more about my work, please visit my website, astrologybyceleste.com, where I offer personal readings, horary consultations, cosmic coaching, group events, and classes to help guide people to higher levels of fulfillment. You can also find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook at Astrology by Celeste. If you enjoyed Celestial Insights, please help others find the show. Follow, rate it 5 stars, or write a nice review. I would so appreciate it. I'm astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks, and I'll be back next week.